Okay, Chuck, thanks very much. Good morning, everyone. We have Coach Paul Tortorella on the line with us from IUP. You know, each and every morning we do sports, and it's usually a lot of fun, and it's interesting, even when our teams lose. But sometimes we have some sad news to report. If you haven't heard this morning, IUP Hall of Fame quarterback Rich Ingold that passed away at the age of 53. Tort, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, Jack, how you doing?
Well, we're all doing the best we can. I know you go back a long way. Give me your remembrances of the man we called Stitch, Rich Ingold, one of the great football players in IUP history.
Well, Jack, he was really one of those guys. I knew him since we were 12 years old. We grew up in the community of Beachview, Brookline, and Dormont, three communities there, and everybody kind of knew everybody, and they were tough neighborhoods, and Rich was just one of those guys that, he had the it factor, so to speak. He was kind of like everyone's legend. He was a winner. He was a great competitor. He had an unbelievable zest for life. He knew everybody. I mean, he came across with relationships with kids, senior citizens, guys down on their luck, doctors, players, coaches, lawyers. People outside of the IUP community would say, who was that guy that played quarterback and was a coach there for all those years? And they were talking about Stitch.
Well, when you talk about him, you think about him, a couple of words come to mind, like great passion for no matter what he did, right, for life.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. Everything he did, he had passion. He was a great athlete. People don't realize it. Obviously he was a great football player. Stitch was a really good baseball player growing up. He was a great street basketball player. He was a legend up at Pauline Park there in Beachview, and he was also a pretty good golfer, and he would compete till no end against anybody and everybody.
He starred, of course, at Seton LaSalle, and then went on, as he was an All-State his senior year, and then went on at South Carolina. The word I got, they switched coaches. Coach left, and so he left. And fortunately for IUP, George Chomp was the coach. Frank Signetti was the athletic director. And we managed to get him here in Indiana in IUP, didn't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you talk about Stitch, about being a winner, he won he won two Whitfield championships when he was in high school, his junior and senior year, and also had great success, obviously, here at IUP, not only statistically, but also started the winning tradition here, kept the tradition going, and kind of, when Coach Chomp was here, in between the bridge to Coach Signetti, he was kind of the guy that spearheaded everything.
Yes, those were the years, the 84-85 season, when they started to come along, when Stitch was the quarterback. And, of course, people look back, he only played 2.5 years because he missed that second half of his junior year with that injury that he suffered, and had to have his spleen removed. This was after an Edinburgh game. I mean, that's tenacity, isn't it?
Oh, he's one of the toughest individuals. Not only was he a character, but he was such a tough-minded. I mean, the guy would go run 10 miles and just at the drop of a hat. He'd say, I'm going to go run. You figure, okay, you're going to go run 3-4 miles. The guy would run all the way around Indiana, and it'd be like 10, 12 miles, and he'd come running into the locker room, and he thought nothing of it.
Tort, he went on then, of course, and became, you used the word legend, went on in the Arena Football League, and not only as a player, all-time winning as coach in the AF2. He was an MVP as a player. So he was at Scranton, he was at Washington, different places, Detroit. No matter where he went, and he made other people winners too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was one of those guys that you just love to be around. If you were playing a pickup basketball game, you wanted him on your team because you were probably going to win. If you were in a golf match and you needed a partner, you wanted him because somehow, some way, you were going to find a way to win. And he was infectious, is the way I always said it.
Paul Tortorella with us here, IUP head football coach. You had talked with him just recently, haven't you?
Yeah, he had called me. He had called Coach Campolo, and then he had called me in regards to getting the job, and was very excited and happy. You know, and he said it's good to have a guy get it from back home. And I was kidding with him. I told him, I said, you have a lifetime sideline pass, Stitch, and if you want to call a couple plays, you know, don't hesitate.
You know, I mentioned to Todd, and I've mentioned to numerous people over the years, and I found a great picture that I have of Coach Chomp with Stitch. But the 1985 Lehigh game, the big numbers before it became in vogue, which we see now 30 years later, it was a loss that day, 49-41. But his 460 yards and 4 touchdowns and 34 completions, it was one of the greatest individual efforts I've ever seen. And, you know, it's just something you never forget. Well,
you know, it would have been great to see him playing a quarterback in this day and age.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of the guys, I mean, he'd call his own plays even when he wasn't allowed to. But now, you know, with all the stuff at the line of scrimmage and in the gun and no huddle, I mean, he'd have been calling every play, and he would have probably been real dangerous.
I love the way you put it. And, of course, he coached then with Coach Signetti, Frank Signetti, Tony Allucci, Scott Woods, 2 pretty good quarterbacks there.
Oh, I mean, that's the other thing that you don't realize is the success he had in his coaching career. I'll bet you if you went and looked at him as a football coach, whether he was an assistant or a head coach in the Arena League, I would venture to say that his record would be unbelievable as a coach.
Yeah. Tort, thanks for the time. Any other further thoughts? And, of course, we send condolences to the entire family and to the IUP family. And, you know, that's all we can do is just remember the good times and remember him. What an outstanding individual he was.
Yeah, that's what you just got to try to remember, that he was a great person and it was just a great guy to be around. And you just got to try to always keep him in mind and in our memory here at IUP.
Tort, thanks a lot. Appreciate it for your time, and we'll talk with you soon.
Okay, thanks, Jack.
Yeah. Paul Tortorella, the head football coach at IUP, remembering our friend, Stitch, Rich Ingold.